Hello, everybody. Once again, welcome back to Formula for Speed. I'm your host, Chad, and I'm with my other lovely co-host. Please introduce yourself yet again.
Hello.
This is the baby face. Guys, Hungary, babyface, Hungary, Budapest. To me, guys, best race of the year so far. My favorite race of the year so far. Before I get into it, I will say, watching qualifying, guys, I just knew we were going to have another battle between the two Mercedes and the Red Bulls because it was a lockout. Mercedes front row, Red Bull babyface, fourth and fifth. Gasly was in there fifth. You know, my guy Norris was in there sixth. After that, you know, Leclerc, Ocon, Alonso, Vettel, Rick, you guys know I'm a Rick, McLaren fan. I was a little worried, but I said, you know what? He'll make it up tomorrow's race, babyface. That's what I told myself. And of course, after that, Stroll, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Sainz, which Sainz seems to have issues with in Q2, from what I'm noticing this season, babyface. You know, another story. Tsunoda, Russell, Latifi, Mazepin. So, babyface, we get to the race. It's raining to start with, right? Or it just got done raining, right? So, guys, you've probably seen the race by now. Let us know what you thought. Did you have the two Red Bulls and Mercedes battling like I did? Did you, babyface? Did you have them battling?
Oh yeah, I thought there was going to be a battle this race.
And everybody was looking forward to the Hamilton and Verstappen since, you know, 2 weeks ago it happened. Everybody was looking forward to these guys getting back into it to see how that would pan out. But babyface, your guy, Bottas. Guys, it was, and I wasn't surprised because it was wet. And when I saw how wet it was, I knew for myself, babyface, there was going to be an accident somewhere. I didn't know how bad, but I said there's definitely going to be a yellow flag, safety car somewhere, didn't know where. But, babyface, I'm going to let you speak on this. And when I saw what happened, I know everybody's saying it is Bottas' fault. I feel like that could have happened because of the wets, and they didn't test any intermediates or anything like that on this track. I feel like that could have happened to anyone. What were your thoughts, babyface?
I agree with you. We all know the Mercedes car isn't as balanced this season, and if the intermediates have not been tested yet, nor the wets, anything could happen. He was not the only one that locked up. He was the one that did lock up and had a massive chain reaction of an accident. Am I surprised? No. Was I gutted when I saw it? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he locked up, he ran into my guy. He ran into Lando, and then after he hit Lando, he then hit Perez. And I think Lando hit Verstappen, if I have that right.
Yeah, Bottas locks up and drove into the back of Lando. Lando then, from being hit from behind, goes into Verstappen, who was to his left.
Okay.
And then Bottas took out Perez for good measure.
Said for good measure?
Yeah. And then Stroll tried to go on the outside of...
Didn't understand that.
He went a bit on grass and turf and took out Leclerc.
I felt like that was preventable.
Leclerc then
hit Rick, right?
Yeah.
Hit my other guy, Danny. So guys, let me know in the comments. I felt like out of the incidents that took place lap one, I mean, you had a lot of stuff happen. And I felt like the incident with Bottas, that start of it, that was more likely. I didn't understand the Stroll incident. I was like, what was that? Because I felt like he didn't have to do that and they would have been fine. Because now you've ruined your race, Leclerc's race, and almost ruined Danny Rick's race completely. You know, so I didn't understand the Stroll incident. I didn't. When I looked at it, I said, what was he maybe he locked up. We didn't see it. Guys, let me know in the comments if you saw a lockup that I didn't see. If maybe there was an angle I missed, babyface. Not sure, but I was like, man, that was crazy. Hamilton took off, and from there, you know, it was a red flag came out, right?
Yeah, well, a red flag came out, and everybody came into the pits. There was a lot of damage because there were even guys that weren't taken out as far as retired, because Lando is now out.
That's true.
Bottas out. Leclerc out. Stroll out. There were so many guys that
Max had heavy damage.
Yeah, that as a result of that domino effect crash, pile up, if you will, couldn't make it. That they had a red flag. There was a lot of work being done trying to fix. Max had damage to his floor that he never recovered from. He raced, but clearly the damage was visible in his face. So the restart was interesting because formation lap, and then Hamilton is out front.
That was wild. Yeah, because he didn't come in to change tires.
So he literally goes up to the line. He's the only car at the line because everybody behind him
went back in to get
put on slicks. So when the lights go out and away we go, Hamilton is the only car going on.
I'm gonna be honest, babyface. When I saw your team, when I saw Hamilton out there by himself, the first thing I thought was, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong. The first thing I thought was, I think he should have went in there and put on slicks. And now, to be fair, they thought, okay, if a little bit more rain comes in the next 3 or 4 laps, we're covered. Whereas they won't be. So it was a big gamble. It just didn't pay off. Because as soon as, right after he started by himself, no more rain came. Rain. And so he had to come in and put on slicks, which put him in, was it dead last at one point? Or close to dead last? Dead last. And so then you have Ocon leading.
Yes.
Followed by Vettel.
Yes.
I was like, wow. I mean, it was good to see. It was good to see. It was good to see Ocon out there, Alpine out there, Vettel. It was good. It was good to see. It was good to see.
Mazepin got knocked out by Raikkonen in the pit lane due to an unsafe release.
Unsafe release. Yeah. That's not Raikkonen. That's not on Raikkonen. That's on the team. They got to be mindful of what's going on in that pit lane. So I don't put that on him. Because guys, I don't know about you all, but for me, babyface, when I see Mazepin, I'm like, all right, it was his fault automatically. And I was like, this time I was like, all right, it wasn't his fault. No. Clearly wasn't his fault.
Lap 15, Verstappen was racing Mick.
He was. Shout out to Mick. So guys, on lap 15, what I liked about when that battle was unfolding, Mick didn't back down. Babyface, you saw it. Mick didn't back down. He wasn't intimidated. To me, it didn't look like he was. I mean, he did not let him pass easily. He held him up, literally defended his position, which he's supposed to do, which I was happy to see from him. Because I was like, I feel like a lot of guys may kind of cower a little bit, like, oh, it's him, so I'll fight him a little bit, then kind of let him back. He didn't do it. He didn't do that at all. So that was good defending from Mick.
Mick did excellent driving. As a result, I was watching Verstappen race against Mick, and I was not surprised to see some of that firecracker Verstappen poke through when he was going against Mick. I mean, it was wheel-to-wheel racing, but the reason they touched wasn't because Mick wasn't getting out of the way.
That's true.
It was because Verstappen kind of leaned over, just, let me cut you off a little bit. Let me push you a little bit wide. And the only reason I bring this up because we will have a chance to compare another driver's wheel-to-wheel racing.
Down the some laps later. Yeah. So to me, guys, again, that's wheel-to-wheel racing. For consistency purposes, I wasn't mad at the move. That's what you do. That's what you have when you have wheel-to-wheel racing. Guys may tap a little bit, right? As long as it's no extensive damage to the point it compromises someone's race, I'm okay with it. But I need them to be consistent with that. And I need teams to understand, if your guy does it, and it gets done to them, we got to be okay with it all. That's all I'm saying. I just want some consistency with the wheel-to-wheel racing concept.
Lap 16, Raikkonen comes into the pits to serve his 10-second penalty, and to make matters worse, had a sticky front left.
Yeah.
And actually, I think one of the mechanics was trying to clear something out of the brake duct.
Brake duct, yeah, I think he was.
So that took a little bit longer. Now, Hamilton, lap 20, comes in to pit for the hards.
Yeah.
2.4 seconds.
Was a good pit stop.
Lap 21, Verstappen, who is being held up by Danny Rick. They both come in to pit for the hards. When they come out,
they had to, because guys, you all know, that was a reaction. They had to do that because Hamilton had pitted, so they had to react. It doesn't make sense?
Well, when they came out, Hamilton passed the both of them.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, babyface, when I saw that, I was like, my hope was, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, my hope was, okay, go right past Verstappen, because Rick is ahead of him. Rick was ahead of him at that point, guys, in the pit lane. So, get right past Verstappen, but Rick, if you could stay ahead of Hamilton, you're in some clean air, run. I don't know how long you're going to run. I don't know how long you're going to be able to keep him off you, but my hope, guys, was that he was going to be able to get in some clean air and have at it, right? Because I knew the McLaren had pace. And with the McLaren having pace, judging off of Lando's car, I was like, I know he's not running as well as my guy Lando, but that McLaren still has pace. So I was hopeful. But when I saw him pass both of them, I said, oh man. Well, there goes our race. My McLaren boys, I knew when he got past, I said, I wasn't sure if we were gonna get any points. Because even with a damaged car Verstappen had, I was like, I'm just not sure at this point if Rick can defend against Max for the rest of the race. Unless some other events take place to help him, I didn't see it, babyface. I needed him to get in that clean air and run a little bit. You know what I mean? Get a little bit of a gap. Even if Lewis came back and passed him, get a little gap between him and Max, since Max's car was damaged to the point he could stay away from Max. That was my hope. Does that make sense?
And this race was quite nostalgia-inducing because before all the pitting in the front three happened, you had Vettel running second. You at one point had Alonso leading the race because Ocon and Vettel pitted. Right. So all of a sudden there was a point where you looked at the screen and saw names in the top three or top five
you haven't seen in a while.
That you hadn't seen in a while.
Right. Guys, I was happy to see it. When I saw Vettel up there, when I saw Ocon up there, when I saw Alonso, it was good to see. I was like, this is what a lot of the older, the OG F1 fans are still out there. This is what we wanted to see. I wasn't mad at it at all. I was quite happy with it. Even though my McLaren boys, their day was ruined, I was still happy to see those guys up front running like that. So it was good. It was good to see.
Lap 41, Verstappen comes in for a record-breaking 1.8 pit stop.
Was it actually 1.8 or was it 1.9? But they said 1.8 on the screen.
On the TV screen it said 1.8. So even if it was 1.9 something, really? Sub 2?
Be honest with you guys, enjoy these quick pit stops from Red Bull while you can, because next year, I think, babyface, the rules, I'm pretty sure, they've changed. So these pit stops like you see them now, I don't think they're going to be like this.
Well, lap 48, Hamilton comes in to change his hards for some mediums. Solid pit stop, 2.3 seconds.
Solid.
Meanwhile, you and I were commenting on the fact that Gasly and Tsunoda were running back-to-back. Mm-hmm. I think 5th and 6th, and then 6th and 7th at some point. Good for Tsunoda. So very good for Tsunoda.
He needed
to those comments out there that are saying that he is trash and he's not good,
it's a rookie.
I will disagree. The rookies are doing very well this season, save perhaps the two Haas drivers because they are in a Haas. Right. There's nothing more they can do or extract out of that car. But
exactly right.
Tsunoda held his own during this race.
He's sure. And do not forget about, guys, did you see the Williams?
The Williams ran very well.
I mean, when I saw, so going back, my favorite team's McLaren. My second team is Williams. If I didn't have McLaren anymore, I would go for Williams. But this is going back years, right? This is going back years. I've liked them. So to see them up in the points after being down for a little bit, it was good to see. It was good to see for both drivers. for the team morale and everything. So it was good to see babyface.
It was definitely especially very good to see considering that Russell didn't make it out of Q1.
Yeah, he didn't.
And for Tsunoda specifically, it was very good to see that he was running that closely behind, the position behind Gasly.
Confidence
because
booster.
In qualifying, Tsunoda qualified 16th versus Gasly's 5th. So again, that must be doing a number on him, because you both have the same car. Why is there such a big gap? But for him in the race, actually delivering, considering, yes, you can argue that had it not been for the pile-up and the domino effect crash at the front, but still, here we are in the middle of the race, and he is running. He is keeping
mid-race. He's up there. So I think, guys, this result did did very good things, a number of things for his confidence. So it was good to see him up there.
Same for Sainz, because Sainz did crash in Q2.
He's been doing that last 4 Grand Prix, babyface.
You actually noted that this is the 3rd Q2 elimination in the last 4 races for him.
Yeah. So everybody keeps saying it's bad luck. I'm like, all right, I get it.
He stayed solid behind in 4th for a good while. The only one, and I know you're not gonna like talking about this, the only one that I feel like lost out big time and had a huge chance to do something was Danny Rick.
Guys, I'm going to save that whole situation for a Let's Talk About a video, because I have to... For me, I wanted Danny Rick to have a solid finish going into the summer break. Because when you finish strong going into a summer break, you come back, you feel refreshed. You're like, man, I ended on a high note. When you end on a low note, and your brain starts thinking and people are talking, it does. I feel like it does something to your psyche. So, man, man, this is tough. It was tough for me to watch because McLaren was counting on him to have a solid race because Lando was out. So now when your teammate's gone, guys, you're up. You're the next man up, and they need you to do well. So I don't think and I'm not making excuses, but I do not think the spin helped him. And I think his race was a little compromised from that. Some people may say that's an excuse. Oh, fair enough. But I'm just telling you what my thoughts are,
He did hold up Verstappen for a very good bit. But
he did.
Frankly, he held up Verstappen because Verstappen had huge damage to the bottom of his car. Now, in comparison, Hamilton and Alonso were battling from lap 55 through 57. I'm sorry. They started battling lap 55 and carried that through lap 65. So it was 10 laps of them. I
was so happy.
Having a tango.
Man, let me tell you something. I was so happy to see that because I never thought I'd get to see that again. Considering things, he's running an Alpine and Lewis has he has your team's Merc. And I'm like, I probably won't see that again. But when I saw that, and what it did for me, and what should have did for a number of the fans, and guys, let me know what you think. When you have 2 guys like that going wheel to wheel, and there's no crashes, that just gives a testament to how good both of them are. Both of them are. Again, I know there was controversy last week in Silverstone with your team, babyface, but it's like that can be put to rest now because for 10 laps you've seen 2 guys go wheel to wheel, not touch. Came close, not touch. And it was good for the sport. I think everyone was cheering when they saw those 2 going at it like old time. So I was happy. Guys, let me know in the comments, were you happy to see that? Were you how did you feel? That was because for me I was like, oh, this is going back in the day. This is taking it back, Now
lap 61, Verstappen finally did get past Danny Rick.
I knew you were gonna bring that up. Yeah, he did, and
bump him out of the points.
He did. I just think at that point, Danny Rick was kind of demoralized, even leading up to that, because I feel like watching him drive, he even in qualifying in the practices, guys, and let me know if McLaren fans, let me know if you think differently. I feel like leading up to that, after he spun and he just is not comfortable with that car, he was just like kind of demoralized for the rest of the race.
Well, it's not like he spun out of just thin air. He
didn't.
Someone hit him.
They did. I just felt like he just lost kind of his unction to go. How do I say it? Yeah, that's the only way I can say it. I just feel like he lost his enthusiasm, or he was kind of a little demoralized.
Now, the fact that it took Hamilton 10 laps to get past Alonso single-handedly...
Yeah, because Hamilton was charging. It was like a half a second faster than the front two guys, I believe.
Hamilton single-handedly handed the first two spots to Vettel and Ocon.
She said handed, yeah.
Because he held up Hamilton as long as he did.
And notate again, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, babyface. The way how hard he was charging, I was like, you know what? If Alonso doesn't hold him up, he's going for the win. And that's why Toto jumped on the radio and said, oh yeah, if he does, the only problem is the roadblock is Alonso. If he gets past Alonso 2 laps, he's there.
Yeah.
Because he has so much more pace than the front two guys. So much more pace. I mean, he was a half a second quicker, I believe, than both of them. So he would have caught him. It's just that for 10 laps, Alonso did, he did his job. He did his job.
And Ocon proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he always belonged in Formula One. He should have never lost his seat to begin with.
Well, we know that was politics.
He drove exceptionally well. And for him to stay in the lead and keep a 4-time champion behind him, Vettel also excellent race on his part.
Yep. I was happy to see it. I was so happy to see Ocon and Vettel, babyface. How did you feel? Tell me. I was so happy to see that.
For Ocon, I always love when someone that doesn't win regularly
gets up there.
It was his first Grand Prix win in Formula 1.
He didn't know where to pull the car.
He didn't know where to put the car. The team had no idea where they should wait in the paddock or run to the podium.
Yeah.
They're all over the place. Some of them were actually packing up because they couldn't watch the screen anymore. They were so nervous.
Guys
the
ran out of gas.
Yeah. Oh, that was
George Russell, Vettel, I believe ran, and I think if I'm not mistaken, guys, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I believe Ocon ran out.
So you almost had pandemonium at the end because you have guys, like you said, running out of gas on the track. The only car that was where it was supposed to be for like 1, 2, 3, the little signs, was Hamilton's, because Lord knows he has parked his car in that place several times. Everybody else is just out, they're running, they're having to pick up guys, there's cars just in the middle of the track.
Yeah.
But I think that's what makes the sport awesome, that you have moments like this where you see the raw emotion and you see the excitement and the teamwork. And hats off to Ocon for shouting out Alonso and saying, I've heard a lot of things about him
after the post-race.
That's been not my experience. And
he's a great teammate.
He is a fantastic teammate, which you and I have talked about this often, that is it good to have Alonso on a team, because, the rumor mill, and that he was on your team, and your team started to do well when he left.
Yeah, it was a rough stint when he was there. But not to take away from his great driving ability, it was just a rough stint. But I think Alonso, and he turned 40 this week, right?
Yes, he did.
So I think for me, Alonso, with experience and age comes maturity. So I think some of those rumors probably were true when he was younger, but I think he's at the point now in his career, he's like, look, I got a couple chips. I'm here to support the young guys, here to learn. He can still drive. You saw that. To me, that wheel-to-wheel battle with him and Hamilton is the best I've seen in years. Because they went wheel-to-wheel over multiple laps. No one crashed. And for all the people, babyface, for all the people hating on your team and Hamilton's a dirty driver, you can dispel that rumor, because dirty drivers don't go wheel-to-wheel for 10 laps. One of the other greatest possibly ever graced a grid on F1. Driving ability-wise, you stayed the most well-rounded. They didn't touch. No one's race was compromised. They came close. No one's race was compromised. So I think that was one of the best, my favorite battles I've seen definitely all year. Nothing. I don't think for the rest of the season I'll be surprised if anything comes close.
What do you do with the rumors that Gasly is racing for Red Bull?
Man, I was surprised. Listen. We're gonna have to talk, guys. On our next Let's Talk About It video, I want to talk about that babyface, because now that AlphaTauri is the sister team from Gasly, I don't know. I don't want to go for that seat. I want to stay where I am. So yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that babyface. What did you? And for your guy Bottas, how do you feel? We're gonna have to talk about that too, babyface.
I'm sick.
When he was handed the 5-place grid penalty, and when he locked up like that, I said, that might be it. I think Toto already knows, but
I'm sick. So, Hungarian Grand Prix.
Shout out to
Esteban Ocon in the Alpine, which the Alpine, as I was telling you, finally, in my opinion, was showing the pace that I felt the Renault had gained last season.
Yeah.
With
finally came with, yeah.
Where, Danny Rick put it on the podium finally.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Alonso came in, Alpine came in, and some changes happened, so it felt to me like the performance dropped, and I think it finally feels like they got their feet under them again.
Right.
And they rediscovered the pace that they had last season.
Right.
So Ocon and the Alpine won the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Man, shout out to Esteban. I was happy to skies again, man. It was good to see.
Vettel in the Aston Martin, second.
Another one good to see.
Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes, third. Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari, fourth. He also needs to thank Alonso, because Alonso holding up Hamilton as long as he did
kept from Hamilton and then Hamilton didn't pass him. What was it, lap 66?
67.
Hamilton did pass him. Now, mind you, that just shows a difference of drive to me. The difference of in driving ability between Alonso, not to take anything away from Sainz, but I don't think, and I've said this to Babyface in a race, and guys, if you disagree, let me know. Who else on that grid can hold up Hamilton like that and defend like that without causing an accident? I don't believe there is none. Also, something else to mention, Vettel had a chance to win. That botched pit stop did not help. I think it was 3.2, 3.3. It didn't help. Because at one point he was running like a second or two, only a second or less behind Ocon. You know what I mean, babyface?
Yeah. His pit stop lap 37 was 3.3. Ocon's lap 38 was 2.3.
There's a difference right there. Because he was right there. I mean, he was right there with him, and I thought he had it in the basket. He's going to pass him. That pit stop messed him up.
Well, Alonso in the Alpine finished fifth. Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda finished 6th and 7th.
Solid finish for them.
Respectively.
Yes, solid.
Latifi finished
Williams.
8th. Russell 9th.
Do you remember what Russell said on the radio?
Yes. Let's get the points, prioritize him. And good team play on his part, because at this point you have to... Come on, it's about the team now. Let's...
Don't compromise Nicky's race. That's what he said.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Verstappen finished 10th. Raikkonen 11th. Danny Rick 12th. Mick 13th, Giovinazzi 14th. I will admit, I am very disappointed with Giovinazzi in 14th. I don't know why I expected him to do, considering that Raikkonen served a 10-second stop-and-go penalty.
He did.
And him finishing 11th. And Giovinazzi finishing 14th behind the Haas. Admittedly, I didn't watch him closely, but I remember when I looked at the full grid afterwards, I thought, oh, wow.
On paper, you would have thought he would have been much further ahead than Raikkonen. I thought you would have thought Raikkonen, technically to me, should have finished last.
Yes.
Stop-go penalty, and then it was a problem putting his wheel on the front right. Or front left. One of the two. Front left. It was a problem putting that wheel on. So, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know.
Yeah, that was
interesting, right?
That was a bit disappointing. So now, as a result, Lewis Hamilton leads the Drivers' Championship.
Babyface, your Merc
with 192 points.
Your Merc boys are back in front.
Verstappen.
180. What is it? 187.
186.
186. Okay.
Lando Norris third with 113.
We had the pace. We had the pace to do better.
Valtteri Bottas fourth with 108, and Sergio Perez 104. We are also leading the Constructors' Championship by 300 points. Red Bull with 290, then McLaren with 163.
Red Bull did not want to...
Followed by Ferrari with 160 points. Only 3 points are separating the McLaren and the Ferraris from the Constructors' Championship.
If it weren't for that crash, we would be talking a whole different thing.
Okay.
If it weren't for the crash... But, still half a season left, babyface. we got to talk about summer break. We got to talk about what we think teams are going to do. And guys, we're going to bring on the Let's Talk About It. We're going to talk about what we think teams, their next moves are going to be business-wise. Because I'm wondering if Sergio gets his seat next year. Because, everybody knows Red Bull, man. They need you to perform. Like, right up there with Max. Not identical, but right up there. So, this wasn't his fault, granted. Because he qualified well, right behind Max. So, this wasn't his fault. So, guys, we're going to get into it. But again, not to take anything away, shout out again to Esteban Ocon and Seb. Also, Hamilton came back and charged, and he had a great drive. So, for the first time in a while, I seen him up about to get driver of the day before Alonso got it for defending him against him. So,
but Alonso should have gotten it because that was an excellent drive.
He saved the win for his team.
Mick had an excellent drive himself. Ocon had it. There were so many options on that grid. Esteban, he deserved to win. Yep. What a drive.
Gasly had a good drive.
Gasly had a great drive.
Sonata,
Yuki had a great drive.
Yuki had a great drive.
Mick defending against everybody that he held up behind him. And that
Mick to me
Mick had an excellent drive in that Haas.
In a Haas. Mind you. In a Haas. And everybody's going to say, well, the cars were damaged. He has a Haas.
2 Williams drivers had everybody that was remaining on the
6
grid.
points for Williams. That's the first time they scored.
Listen.
3 I mean, this to me, race of the year so far.
Yeah, everybody that raced to the end and crossed the finish line
deserved that one.
Deserves to be on the grid.
Yep.
Hands down. Every single one of them. It was a fantastic race. You really saw the talent on the grid. And
the guys that didn't finish, I'm going to be honest with you, if it were dry, I think it would have been a much different race. But because of the conditions of the weather and I'm going to tell you, you guys have a great recovery system. When you get strategy wrong, you guys can pull some podium points back out. So, guys, let us know in the comments what you thought about this race. For me, my favorite one so far. You guys may feel differently. Like, share, subscribe. And again, Babyface, any last words? Anything?
No.
None?
None.
Your guy pulled out a podium. Hamilton, Mercedes.
I'm not surprised, are you?
Little bit.
Your guy didn't score any points.
I don't want to talk about it. I really don't want to talk about it right now. Okay. Guys, I'm a little salty about this, and we're going to save it. But again, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye.